guys, welcome to question MM430 of the Maths Methods Fortify study guide. So in this question we've got a loaded die and it's rolled 3 times. The probability of rolling an even number is P. So probability of even is equal to P. Find in terms of P the probability of obtaining 3 even numbers from these 3 rolls. So to get 3 even numbers, or to get 1 even number, the probability to get that is P, right? The question tells us that. Probability to get the next even number is also P. Probability to get the next even number, again, P. So the probability to obtain the even numbers from these 3 rolls is simply P times P times P. Okay? So P times P times P, which in this case is P cubed. Now, this is only a 1-mark question, so we don't need to show any working. We just need to get to this answer of P cubed, and that is our first and final mark for part AI. Let's move straight on to part AII. Part AII is again a 1-mark question, and it says find the probability. Find in terms of P the probability that we get 2 odd numbers and an even number from these 3 rolls. So the thing we need to be careful of here is the order doesn't matter. Okay, so we want 2 odd and 1 even, but not necessarily in that order. So we could get an odd, and then an even. We could also get an odd, an even, and an odd, or an even, an odd, and an odd. Okay, so these are the 3 possibilities of that, right? Because we don't need it to be in a certain order. It's just in any order, right? Now the probability of getting an odd first is 1 minus P. Okay, the probability of getting an odd second is also 1 minus P. Probability of getting an even is P. Okay, so the probability of this is just this bit here. Plus, so we can even put that in brackets to make it a bit more clear, plus probability of odd is 1 minus P times even, which is P, times odd, which is 1 minus P. Now the reason that odd is 1 minus P is because there are only 2 outcomes with this. There's either an odd or an even number. There's no other possibility. So if our chance to roll an even is P, then that means that P plus the odd must equal 1, so odd has to equal 1 minus P. Cool, and then we're plussing even, which is P, times odd, 1 minus P, times odd again is 1 minus P. Now all of this, I'm actually just going to rewrite this. So the P comes out the front, 1 take P, 1 take P, plus P, 1 take P, 1 take P, plus P, 1 take P, 1 take P. Awesome. Now all of these are the same, as I'm sure you've noticed, which means that they're all like terms, which means we can add them all together, which means we end up with 3 P, 1 take P, 1 take P, which is 3P outside of 1 take P squared. And this is our first and only mark for part AII, and that's it. So let's move on to part B. Part B says if the probability of obtaining 3 even numbers is equal to the probability of obtaining 2 odds and an even, find P. Awesome. So we know that the probability of obtaining 3 even numbers is P cubed. We found that in part AI. And we also know that the probability of obtaining 2 odds and an even is 3P 1 minus P squared, right? So we have our 3P 1 minus P squared. And we know that these two are equal because the question's told us this. Part B says that these 2 things are equal. So now all we have to do is actually solve this in our quadratic formula, okay? Or just in any other way that we choose to do it. So expanding all this out, we get 2P cubed take 6P squared plus 3P. And this is actually our first mark, by the way. This is B, 2 marks. Plus 3P equals 0. So now we know that we can take P out as a common factor, so we get P, 2P squared take 6P plus 3 equals 0. So we can immediately say that P is equal to 0 because of our null factor law. So P equals 0. Now we can say that therefore 2P squared take 6P plus 3 is equal to 0. And in order to solve this, we don't have our CAS, so we're going to need to use our quadratic formula. So our quadratic formula says that p is equal to negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now, b is negative 6, so we get 6, so negative 6 plus minus the square root of negative 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 3, over 2 times a, which is 2. Awesome. Let's just go over here. So then we've got our 6 plus minus square root of negative 6 squared is 36. So 36 minus 4 times 2 times 3 is 24 over 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Now, 6 plus minus the square root of 12 over 4, which equals 6 plus minus 2 root 3 over 4. And so we can take a common factor of 2 out, divide everything by 2, and get 3 plus minus root 3 over 2. So therefore, p equals 3 plus root 3 over 2, and p equals 3 minus root 3 over 2. Now, the only problem here is that this p value is more than 1, okay? So p has to be between 0 and 1, including 0 and including 1, which means that we can't have this value. So therefore p equals 0 and because we found out p equals 0 up here, p equals 0 and p equals 3 minus root 3 over 2. That is our final answer for part B. And that's our second mark there. And that actually wraps up MM430. So guys, if you have any questions about any of that, please let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.